Somehow I cunningly pushed the power button on my phone while I was walking, so this will be part 2. I suppose it makes it for an easier watch. Of course, it's going to take about 3 days to upload it on Mum's internet. All the polonias. This corner used to just be pine trees. Most of them have been cut down now. And I'd planted a whole bunch of oak trees here many years ago. These little guys are just everywhere, just lovely. But it's a very dry corner, so the oak trees, most of them died, but there's still a few clinging to life, which is nice. Anyway, moving on. Super wide mode. What else have we got? Oh, the shed's around there. I'll go around there later. But again, we're still following around the edges of the property. This is the back of the back shed. There used to be 2 or 3 of these big long sheds in a row, and the previous owner farmed chickens in them. This is also where Mum grows all the natives, because all the runoff from the roof goes there. Just pretty nice. There's all sorts of interesting conifers of all shapes and sizes and things. Got some ghost gums. The whole water along here is a row of pine trees at the moment. I'll head in there in a second. Sorry about the lens flare. It is early morning. Mum plants all sorts of little treasures all over the place. Some of them only pop up during the spring. Now this path continues around, but what I'll do is I'm going to duck into the forest and walk along the inside of that, because it's just a bit nicer. Just trying to find the entrance. I'll just force my way in here. Because I sometimes spend time in here just trimming all the branches to let you walk, and also allows all these little bushes to grow in the undergrowth. Slowly fill them. These are all oyster shells. When we bought the place, those back sheds were full of bags of oyster shells. I used to crush them up to feed to the chickens. Very nice under here, especially when it's hot. There's lots of little new growth. You get a lot of mushrooms and fungus in here as well when it's damp. I think they've been planting various other native ground covers and things. Try and stop that lens flare with my hand. You can actually hear a bit of traffic noise from the main highway, which is a few hundred metres, well, it's about half a k away from here, but when the wind blows it can be a bit noisy, sadly. But these trees do block quite a lot of the noise in the middle of the property. It's nice seeing the ferns growing. Hopefully they'll spread. Oops, I have to go around this way. But this is a nice place to hang your hammock on a particularly hot day. This is also a very nice picnic area. Lots of big tall trees. Now heading down to the lower corner of the property. This has a little stream running, well, has a little stream bed, but it only flows when it's been raining. But it's very nice when it is flowing. And it just heads across the fence into the neighbours. But again, lots of fruit and nut trees down this end. This used to be the second apple orchard. There's still quite a lot of apples, but there's also pears and a few other things as well. Also worked out a full circuit loop is exactly half a kilometre. Yeah, it's about 6-acre property. When we bought the property, it was pretty much completely bare. There was a hedge, the big macrocarpus, and some gum trees, and that was about it. So it's turned into a proper little native forest here. This is a stream bed. We also have a little bridge built across it at some point. Popping out the other side of the house over there to the nice sort of front lawn of the old dairy factory building. I'll walk around the back of that shortly. So heading that way, you just end up back around where we started, but I'm going to just circuit through the middle so you can see some of the other stuff. Oh, this tree's one of the most beautiful trees in the autumn. Just goes a golden red colour. Somewhere around here, I've dug a hole and found some treasures. Can't remember exactly where. Oh, here where all the potatoes are growing. There's actually a big concrete pit. Hard to see, but it was an old ash pit for the steam engines that used to run at the dairy factory. I found all sorts of interesting bits and pieces in there, and using it as an archaeology thing with Alethea and Sophia. Alright, there are tracks sort of all the way through the middle of all these parts, but it's going to take the main one here. Past here's another oak tree. I love oak trees. Oak tree, apple. As you can imagine, heading through here on the right on is quite exciting. Back of the old building. Oh, ginkgo. Massive quince tree around here somewhere. Her mum also did a lot of grafting as well, so there are various different multi variety apple trees and various things like that. Oh, here's the quince, starting to get a good load. It's a nice seat parked at the back. This little herb garden was created by my sister. It's just basically lavender. She used to make lavender products and soaps and things like that. This is the back of the old dairy factory. This used to have big sheds where all the boilers and things were. I won't walk around inside there, it's all full of crap, but it's an amazing old building and it'd be lovely to get some money into repairing it, but it requires a bit of a lotto win, sadly. My parents actually did draft up plans to turn it into a house, but life got in the way of that. So again, houses over there, and a big flower garden, which I may or may not get to. And this is just the main path back up to that back shed we went around. Mum's been doing a lot of plantings along here. Oh, there is a particularly cool tree. If I can get to it. Sorry, lens flare. Probably a bit hard to see, but there's an oak tree right behind there, which is a scarlet oak. And at the base of it, it's a giant chunk of limestone from the old building with my initials carved into it that my friend Colin did for me for, I think it was my 16th birthday or something, which was a really lovely touch. Okay, so it's just down through the middle. You can see all the big old macrocarpus, which are slowly drying and dying. Back shed, Series 3 Land Rover if anyone wants it. There's bits of equipment all the way through the grass just belonging to my uncle. You can see why it's getting too much just for Mum to maintain. There's so much property. A lot of it's self-maintaining now due to the size of the trees and stuff. Now this oak forest that's slowly self-propagating here, it's all come from one single tree. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's full of little baby oaks and things. But yeah, it's an acorn that I found when I was 4 or 5 down in Gore, and we planted in it. There's a good view. It's quite hard to see, but it's a giant acorn tree there. The top came out of it unfortunately during a big snow, but it's probably the oldest oak on the property, and its children are slowly spreading, which is awesome. They've even got across the path, and some are starting to sprout up over here. Hopefully I'm getting bored yet. Just going to go back round past the walnut trees. It's the rear gate. The walnut, I love the light under here. They've got a special green tinge to them, which is just beautiful. Being mugged by fantails. Can't think of worse things to be mugged by. Alright, so we're going to go around under here. I think, I don't know if it's still here, but it's more natives getting planted in here. They're hopefully slowly going to take over. Used to be a bamboo grove in here, but I know Mum's not a great fan of bamboo, so that path goes back through to the berry patch. And small walnuts. There's the bamboo there. So that's really cool, especially when the wind's blowing. It just waves gracefully and slowly. Gosh, that sun. And this goes back through under the hedge to the back of the house. It does continue on over that way to another vegetable garden, which is a really big one, which is absolutely chocker full of potatoes. This hedge is pretty cool because I used to burrow my way into it, and I made, I'll see if I can get around to it, little play huts for the kids and stuff. There's the Morrigan. There's a native nursery house in there to hold the babies. Going under there. This hedge used to just have a little arch in it, but they've slowly been chipping away at it. I haven't actually looked up here in years, but I sort of hollowed it out and made a place for the kids to play, but they're all a bit big now. Back of the house, I'll just loop through the flower garden, around the front, and then we're done. That's probably one of the highest maintenance things on the property. This used to be the original veggie patch that they built when we moved in, but it's now become flowers. Lots and lots and lots of flowers, and a ginkgo tree apparently, and lilies. This is a really warm spot because the building keeps the trees warm. So Mum did have a really nice orange, but it died recently. So you got your citruses. This fig is so overladen that, as you can see, it's collapsed. It's normally right up against the top of that, so I don't know how it's going to survive that. Flower garden. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. It's really overladen, and there's another big fig through there, which is also absolutely chocker. Around the back of the veg garden, just along my shadow. It's the main driveway in. It used to be a loop driveway around the front yard and then out another exit. But got rid of that because it was just annoying and turned it into lawn. Front garden in spring, it's just blooming with bulbs and flowers and things like that. And around the back is one of the other original trees on the property, is this giant old walnut. It used to always have our swing on it. And they still do. No, there's no swing there anymore. But yeah, this is one of the older trees on the place, and this garden's full of Himalayan lilies which sprout up every now and then, and they just look amazing. And we come back around to the other side of the house. Alright, so that's the horrible place I'm having to force myself to hang out at. Lots of nooks and crannies to go and hide in if you need peace and quiet. So here you go. I hope you enjoyed the walk around. Bye.